Today, I wanted to talk about RKM Initial Search Troubleshooting for when you cannot find an article or an incident that should show up in search when you're expecting it to. We'll be talking about the flow, the troubleshooting flow. We'll be discussing a little bit about the MFS multiform search and where to go if the multiform search returns results or doesn't return results, and how can you progress the troubleshooting in this. There's many factors that are involved when or why an article wouldn't show up in a search. One of them would be FTS issues, which is full text search. And the other thing would be data issues such as visibility groups, permissions the user may or may not have. Is the article marked as internal only? And data that's in the remedy knowledge management tool. As far as the flow, the first thing we want to do when we're troubleshooting searches is to go to the MFS multiform search, and you'll want to do the same exact search on this form as you would do in a global search or a knowledge management search. If you do not get any results on this form, such as a specific KBA number you're looking for, that's pretty much an indicator that there's something wrong with FTS, and you would start troubleshooting from there. If you do get the results in the MFS multiform search, but you're not getting them in a global search or in a knowledge management search, then you would start the flow process, which is the data. Um, and you would start with the knowledge article manager form, and then there's the signee groups, the status of the article status, the search boost values, and permissions. So let's take a look at the MFS multiform search. Essentially, as I mentioned earlier, this is usually it bypasses any kind of row level security. You do have to have administrator to access this form. So if you do get results back, as you would see in this screenshot, that means that it is indexed. Again, if you search for a specific KBA number and that article does not show up on the MFS form, then it's an FTS problem for sure. If you do get results in the MFS multiform search, that's when you would, again, as I mentioned earlier, you want to start investigating the data, such as your visibility groups. Is the user part of that? Is the user part of the article assignee group? Is the internal only flag set for the article in the article template join forms? Is the status string for search set to published on the knowledge article manager? And is the search boost value high or is it low? The default with a brand new article is 1. And I will show you a little bit about the knowledge article manager work view, which is essentially where the data is located to help you find that quicker. The template, I circled this because the template, it's important, because if you wanted to look at the internal only flag, yes or no, then you would need to know what template the article is that you're trying to locate to begin with, and that's highlighted with this square here. So it'll tell you what template it is, so you would go to the join form of that template to look at the internal only field. Your visibility groups and your assignee groups are located here. Your search boost values, which I'll briefly discuss that here in a second to kind of give you an idea of how this affects search returns. Here's your status string for search. If for published articles, it needs to be published. If your status string for search is anything other than that, then there's a problem with the workflow that's not setting this status, thus why the article is not showing up in your search. So going back to the search boost value, you may see that when you're typing in your search terms, that the article is actually showing up on page 3. Or initially during your investigation, you had thought that it's just not showing up at all, and you went to the MFS multiform search and it shows there. But come to find out that the article is on page 3. Typically, that's due to this boost value being set to a default, where you have other articles that are set higher. And we do have more information on around these topics that will help you out. And those are on the following links, as you see here. There is a knowledge base article called How RKM Search Works that will go into further details about each of these sections we just discussed. There is an FTS troubleshooting guide in the AR server documentation. There's a community post as well that discusses your visibility groups and how those work. And there is more information on the MFS Multiform Search. Thank you for viewing this quick video.